Hi there. I am your instructor, Vanessa Aragon, and I'm going to walk you through your Anatomy and Physiology 1 course. So let's go ahead and share my screen with you. I'm going to try to make my videos as quick as possible to minimize the amount of time. So let's go to your video. Now, keep in mind, I have several sections, okay? And so with those several sections, if you look at something and you're like, oh, that is not mine, don't worry about it. And so I'm just showing you one of the sections. So first of all, your course home. So you can see your course up here. This is your Biology 2101, which is Anatomy and Physiology 1. And then this is your section number 1 and 3. Anytime you communicate with me, oh, by the way, it might not be your section number. It really depends on which section you're in. Like I told you, I have several sections. But make sure you always keep your section number. So like, for example, this is one of my other sections, and then I have another one that's not open yet. So, oh, wow, today's the first day, and the discussion posts are rolling in. So good job. So if you notice, this is going to be really important announcements. This is an online asynchronous. Asynchronous means you're not going to have any specific scheduled meetings with me, which means I'm not going to say, hey, let's meet at this time and you have to be online and I'm going to lecture. It doesn't work like that. So I'm providing you with online lectures, and they're going to also be in shorter amount of time. That way, it really helps you focus in on those harder subjects, but we'll talk about that in later videos. So it's asynchronous online course, guided self-study, okay? Essentially, I'm not there to hit the play button for you. You're going to have to be the one to make that happen. So please make sure I will be posting announcements every single week, if not a couple of times a week. It really depends on what I have to say. So it is your responsibility to be looking into the announcements every single day. This class is going to move very fast. And you not knowing or didn't look, that unfortunately is not going to be an excuse for you not getting whatever assignment done on time. All right, so I'll let you read through this yourself. As you can see, I provided links to them. Everything that is highlighted, I linked to stuff. Oh, look at this one, discussion rubric. I think I'd like to go ahead and open that up. Usually people don't understand, even though I put it in the discussion post, how they're going to get graded. Well, this right here, the discussion rubric, tells you exactly how you're going to get graded. There are about 7 discussions, okay? So there's not one every single week. It's about every other week, but make sure you know. So if you want to get all your points, you want to be in this highly proficient range. Boom, 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 boom. Discussions are worth a total of 10 points. I don't know why it does it here, but there's our point value right there. And so notice right here, timeliness of post. Initial posts and response are not completed in time. An example of that is all posts, the originals and the responses are all completed on the data that it's due Sunday. That is going to earn you absolutely minimal points. And with that, that's also going to, that tells me that you have not put much value into responding to your classmates. So I'd be hitting there. That is also very vague too. So if you're wanting your points, which I'm sure you are, just make sure that you are referring to the rubric. So what that looks like is, even says right here, the original, the very first discussion is due by the 3rd day of the discussion opening. So the discussion opens on Monday, so which means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Discussions are due on Wednesday. And then you have 2 replies that are going to be due. Those 2 replies are due on 2 separate days, also having to do with a separate day than the original. It's not written here, but let's go ahead and open it up again and you will see that. Oh, it's not in here. Well, yes, we go. Here we go. At least on 2 separate days. And then also posted on the 3rd day. But if you're ever unsure, I almost guarantee you I've written it on every single prompt. And it says here, you should post your first discussion within the first 3 days. So by Wednesday, you should be posting a minimum 2 replies on 2 different days. That equals to 3 different days of participation. Okay, so that will be on every single one of them. I will make sure that that gets on every single one of your posts. Okay, so we really hopped into it. We went straight to those discussions, didn't we? Okay, so always check in your announcements, like I said. Right here, look at that. You already got extra credit opportunity. Isn't that great? That's awesome. So not only is this extra credit, it's also an assignment. So which means when you subscribe to the YouTube, and then you need to take a screenshot and upload it to the assignments folder. If you do it by the first due date, which is this Friday, August 25th, you'll get 10 points. That's 5 points for the assignment and then 5 extra credit points. Okay, so you already got 5 points extra credit. But say you miss it and instead you get it done by Sunday. Well, you got 5 points for the assignment with no extra credit. Okay, if you miss the Sunday due date, that means you got 0 points for a 5-point assignment. So this is an assignment. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Those are starting to roll in too. If you're not sure how to subscribe, if you don't have a YouTube, if you have a Google account, you have a YouTube and you just maybe didn't realize. Otherwise, if you don't use Google, as far as Google for Gmail, there you go. This is how you can make a YouTube account. And so subscribing to mine is a requirement. Now, this right here should be self-explanatory, but there's a couple of apps that are really, really wonderful. They do cost, but the thing is your all of your lab stuff, everything has been made pretty minimal. That way you're not having a lot of extra out-of-pocket cost. Your textbook cost is built into the course, the payment of the course. So with that, it's not required that you get them, or even one or the other or both, but highly suggested. And this comes from the course builder. Her name is Tracy. She's the other A&P instructor at Pikes Peak State College. So she's given me this information. So when you watch the video, you'll be watching her video. So I just got my app and I'm just playing with it. And so since she was so good at it and explaining it, I figured I'd have her do that for you. So with that, I don't know what she says on the video, but remember, I'm your instructor. I do require that I'm not taking anything handwritten. So you will write text boxes whenever you're labeling. All you got to do is make a text box and type in. I expect everything to be typed. The only exception is going to be, and I put it up here, the only exception is going to be your solutions. Whenever for your lab number 2, you're doing solutions. So you're doing molarity, you're doing osmolarity, osmillimoles, stuff like that. And so I will let you handwrite all of that out. It does have to be handwritten, and I'll explain that again when I go through this week's stuff. Excuse me, it does have to be showing your work. That's what I meant to say. You do have to show your work, not just an answer, because I can put in the problem into Google and get the answer myself. It's not about that. I need to see your work. Okay, so with that, this is the only exception, but handwriting is huge. If I cannot read it, it's wrong. And that's just the way it is. So which is why you will be typing up all of your labs. And so when you type up, you're going to type up with contrasting color other than black typeface. I mean, it could just be as simple as putting blue. Okay. One thing I do request, I don't want all this like rainbow color where every single sentence is a different color. No, it's like if you're going to choose blue, highlight all your answers blue and then just call it. But I don't want my questions blue. That's the thing is I have to grade a lot of assignments. So number one, I can't read everybody's writing, especially when you guys are on the nurse doctor track and you got a lot of things to write. And the second thing is I need to be able to see your answers. So you notice I put the answer right in here within the question. So what you do, the question, your answer, highlight it, not highlight, excuse me, color it. There you go. All right. So contrasting color. So if you have any questions, because I am going through this a little quickly, I don't want you to get confused. I want to provide all the answers to your questions because this is going to move fast, okay? Here's my preference. If you have questions, put them in my office hours. So let's go into office hours discussion, open it up. Boom, there's my office hours. You can see when I'm open. You can see I'm open all the time, but yet never all at the same time, okay? I just thought that was so adorable. So you're gonna start a thread and you're gonna ask me a question because I almost guarantee you out of my 3 A&P sections and out of my 34 people in each section, I'm going to get the same question. So literally close to 100 people are gonna ask me the same question. I do not want that question in the email. I want it right here, okay? And guess what? When the one person asks me the question in the class, I'll put the answer there. And then now the whole class knows. So you don't have to have all that back and forth and lag time. And by the way, as a student, if one student asks a question about content, but if another student is pretty sure what it is, the answer is, or where to find the answer, feel free. You can go in there and, I'll check it and I'll be like, they're absolutely right. Or maybe not quite so much. Here, let me tell you what I got here. Okay, so with that, when do you email me? The answer to when you email me is if you have something personal pertaining to yourself. Okay, so my youngest, they and their partner are about to have a baby. They were due 6 days ago. So that would be considered, you know what? I cannot get online today to do this. I'm having a baby. That's a perfect example. So obviously you know that, so you'll be letting me know ahead of time, but emergencies come up. I was in the ER with my kid last night, and I'm doing my test here. Boom. So there's your examples. Please look at your syllabus to see what constitutes as an emergency. Because as you may note, the exams are open for 5 days. Okay, being that the exams are open for 5 days, a 5-day emergency, hopefully you don't have one of those. Okay, and the other thing I say, don't wait till the last minute. Because if you wait till the last minute, when I opened it on Sunday and you're waiting till Friday night to have an emergency, you're waiting till Friday night to do it, and you have an emergency on Friday night, I'm probably not going to excuse that because you've had a 5-day window. And so please choose your test taking time wisely. And if something's going to go wrong with your computer, go wrong with your internet, anything, it's always going to happen when you save it to the last minute. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and take a peek. Here's your contents. Let's go through here. You got your assignments folder, your discussions, quizzes. We'll be using all of that, obviously, grades. You may use the class list if you want to get a hold of some other students in the class. So let's go ahead and go first to the content. Let's go content first. All right. So here's what I like to do. I like to hide everything. Look at that. It's all gone. So table of contents is what I hit. Now I'm going to hit start here documents. Okay, so I have everything just embedded in each other. On your end, you probably only see module 1. Now, I have everything else open before I make it visible. I just want to make sure it's nice and beautiful for you. So your module 1, actually, let's go ahead and click into the syllabus. Everything's syllabus here. You can see it on the left side. I'm showing you as if you've never used D2L before. Okay, so you will find your syllabus here. Please open it, read it. I'm not going to go through that with you. You will also find the course schedule here. So the course schedule is found at the last of the syllabus, but if I click on here, I've just provided just the course schedule, just to make things nice. As you can see here, week 1, here's your dates, lecture topics. We will be covering these lecture topics. We have due dates, YouTube assignment, syllabus quiz, respondus quiz. Then discussion board. This week, you can see discussion 1 is going to be participated in and is due final due date by Sunday, but you should be participating your first participation by Wednesday. And so there's that final due date. Also this week, your lab activities. You'll begin your post lab 1, you'll begin your post lab 2. You do not have any lab due dates this week, okay? So if you slide down to week number 2, we can go ahead and see more of that good stuff. You got another discussion. Lab quiz 2 is going to be due on Sunday, September the 3rd. Okay, so that's at the end of the week. So you have all week long to be doing your lab 1. And then by the end of the week, you should be doing your lab quiz 1. There you go. Same thing with your lab quiz 2 with your solutions. For 2 weeks, you will have been doing your post lab 2. They call it post lab because it's really built for in class, and you would have showed up and been handed a paper, and then you do it there, and then you turn it in after lab. So just words is all it is. And you can see that is due that same day. So please look at all your due dates. All your due dates are on here. As you can see here, you also have homework. You have 5 modules of homework, and that is through McGraw-Hill Connect. Okay, so hold on to that. We will be back. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to my course documents. I know you can go through this yourself, but I really want to explain it. And that way, if anybody has any questions, sometimes we just don't know what to ask, really. All righty, so once you've gone through the syllabus, you can take a peek in that course schedule. Syllabus quiz is required. It is due on Wednesday, August the 23rd. If you miss it, you've missed 10 points. Okay, there's no wiggle room on that one. Also, you have this respondus identify cheating. This is required. I found out that it was hidden. So if you've already tried this, try it again. Okay. And then, so this is required. It is 10 points. It has a due date of Thursday. Now, this one is just practice. It's like, okay, well, I downloaded Respondus. Let me try it out and see if it works. And it's just a bunch of ridiculous questions, but it's a chance to actually get to try a quiz to make sure that your Respondus is working. All right, now that I've seen that, I'm going to go ahead and hide it. Okay, so here is where you are going to find your ebook and your homework assignments. As you can see here, I've only loaded homework assignments for the first module. You're going to start seeing all 5 modules just starting to populate. I decided to go ahead and back off and revisit what they look like. So when you're looking for your ebook, all you have to do is click in there. And when you click in there, it's going to take you. So I'm going to go ahead and click into the Smart Book assignment. Ebook, as you see here. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on the book. They just made it too obvious to click on the book. As you can see here, there's also a practice atlas. So when I told you to look at your atlas, there you go. And so this practice atlas is going to have all kinds of lovely different models and stuff that you can use for practice. Okay, so let's go ahead and head back to our classroom. Now, in our classroom, I'm back in the contents page. I'll let you play around with your Connect homework, but just know it's all due on the same night. Okay, so we will visit, let's see when it was due. Connect homework, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 homework assignments for Module 1. And if you look into the syllabus and the course schedule, you will find that those are due week 3. Connect homework for Module 1 is due week 3, 9/10, which is September the 10th at 11:59 p.m. That's my favorite due date time, 11:59 p.m. Okay. So as you can see, this week 3, you do not have classes on Monday or Tuesday. So the expectation, I have not put any actual due dates there, but here's the deal. You need to work out when you get your work done, okay? So I'll let you decide on what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to our Start Here documents. So we got into that. Let's go ahead and close that up. Let's look at some modules. Module 1. As you can see, Module 1 it's going to have a actual intro video. This one is Tracy's because this was her class and she shared with me the formatting and everything. I'll get you your intro video. And so right here, you're going to have everything pertaining to what you need for lecture, PowerPoints, my lecture videos, and any other supplementation, whether it is any type of other documents or other videos that aren't me actually lecturing, maybe some YouTube animations, whatever that looks like. And so if I click in there, as you can see, I've sectioned it off by chapters. You look in chapter 1, there's some modified PowerPoints in chapter 1. Excuse me. Sorry. And then here you got your scientific method video. There we go. There I am. Hello there, my Biology 111. I am your... Yes, it says Biology 111, but do you think the scientific method changes on the class? No, it doesn't. So I'm letting you watch how I do the scientific method. And so what do we have here? Let's see. Levels of biological organization. So whenever I find anything that can be helpful for you in that chapter, that's additional. Now, it's, at some point you got to go find your own information too, but sometimes I have some things. And so here's my beautiful board writing. And just in case you can't read that, there you go. That nice little transcript. And so those are some of the things that are covered in chapter 1. So when we go to chapter 2 is pretty intense. So I've actually broken it up into 3 different PowerPoints. Sectioned them off by part 1, chemistry of life, part 2, properties of water, and part 3, organic compounds and large biological molecules. Okay, so you will end up seeing some lecture videos. My goal is not to sit there and lecture for 2 hours, because for the most part, you can read. That's why you're taking an online class. My goal is to assist you in those very, very hard topics. So being that this is a lot of review from your 111, I am going to put small lecture videos in this module, okay? So what that means is I'm not just going to go through and read and read and read and read. All righty, so let's go ahead and take a peek. And just in case you wanted that, well, guess what? Once upon a time, before I decided not to do that, I did actually have lecture videos that are literally me reading PowerPoints. Okay, so if that's something that you are into and that you're needing, I do provide that for these first few chapters, because these are just pulled over from my Biology 111. But my intention is to give you small, purposeful, so as you can see, type of lectures. As you can see here, here's your water chapter. That probably looks terribly familiar. All right, so let's go ahead and look. So I've only done your first week's worth, your chapter 1 and your chapter 2. Your chapter 3 will be coming along ever so quickly. As you can see here, I will probably actually do a video explaining this. This is a lecture on large biological molecules that I gave my in-class Bio 111. So these are the pictures. And so if you're wondering, I don't know what to make of those pictures, no worries. There will be a video coming with that in the next day, and I will go over it. And so it's very important that you know your large biological molecules. All righty, so let's go ahead and get out of this piece, go back to our module 1. So when it comes to labs, with your labs, as you can see here, post lab 1, post lab 2. If you recall, we saw that in the lab schedule. You're supposed to be starting post lab 1, post lab 2 today, okay? Molarity practice problems. Here's me teaching a couple of molarity practice problems. And then if you're not digging that, then I'll add some other internet resources, okay? So believe I also have another one on osmoles. And so
Hello, welcome to Pikes.
I'll be throwing one up of me actually doing some osmol problems in addition. So hopefully that is helpful to you. Let's go back into our modules, just kind of giving you a little view. So that's what your lab looks like. Let's go into the lab. And so when you look into your post lab 1, this is literally what we would have called in 111 your lab report. Okay, this is the lab document that you're going to open up, read, do, and turn in. So your post lab 1, as you can see, it is going to ask you specific questions. It's going to give you prompts. It's going to tell you to paste or draw a human body, label the following regions. So obviously you're not going to be able to do in this tiny little section here. So when you download it, you're going to put space in between for your uploaded picture. Okay. Anything, like for example, it tells you here, write out 10 examples of how directional terms can be used compared to anatomical locations. I expect those to be typed, not handwritten. Okay. As before, I do not accept handwritten labs. And so be prepared for that. Probably the first time I'll send it back. I'll put a 0 saying upload this before the due date. After that, I won't give any more warnings. Okay, so it'll always be typed, highlight with a different color for your answer. Okay, where will you upload it? You will upload it in the assignments folder. So let's take a peek at that assignments folder. So some people have already gotten acquainted. You got your YouTube assignment. Here's your post lab 1 anatomical position. Here is your post lab 2. They have their due dates. These should be all set. If these do not match up with the course schedule, please let me know. It's just a matter of I didn't get it, but hopefully they're all good. And so those are your due dates, and those are hard due dates. When this date is gone, it's closed. I won't be allowing you to upload more. But if for some reason you miss a 10-point lab, you will have one opportunity for makeup. One opportunity for makeup. Okay. It's not showing yet on your end, but there's a makeup homework assignment. And I will make this available towards the end of the semester, a makeup homework assignment. And then suppose you missed post lab 2 and you're just like, oh, I forgot it. I just didn't want to do all those calculations. I just didn't feel like coming to school to go into my computer today, whatever that looks like. You would do that makeup assignment and just upload it here. At that point, I will open them up. Okay. So just heads up on that. Okay. Let's go to the next piece. Oops. So much for my short videos, huh? All right, lab quizzes and lab practicals. So let's click on here. So your lab quizzes, boom, boom. Isn't that great? They're just linked in there. You can also find them in the quizzes tab, okay? And then here is for your lab practical, which you can also find in the quizzes tab. But check it out, terminology for that lab practical. I'm putting it in this folder. That way you're like, well, I don't know what's going to be on the lab practical. Well, when you click in here, this is going to tell you what terminology you should be familiar with in order to be successful with that lab practical. And then let's go ahead and look at the exam piece. So your exam number 1 is over chapters 1 through 4, basically module 1. And you're like, what do I study? Well, here you go. Here's your review to study. So it's not sectioned out in specific chapters as much as it's concepts, okay, which pretty much is chapters. Orientation of the human body, you have your chemistry, general organic, biochem, all of that stuff. Cell structure functions, chapter 3. So they're pretty much separated out. It just doesn't say it. Then you notice you have to know stuff from Bio 111. So hopefully you didn't forget it, okay? And if you did, feel free to see all of my YouTube videos and also my my lectures from 111, because this could be very helpful for you. as you notice, it follows you. This is not something that you're allowed to forget. So if you were in my Bio 111 class, you now know why it was so important for you to get an A or a B. And that's really not because of your transcripts as much as it's you want to be successful in this class and have a good base knowledge. Okay, so then there's that. Let's go to the last one here. So I'll click on modules. I like to click on modules so I can basically tuck everything in, see what to expect. Now let's look at discussions. There's your intro discussion, and then there is your next one for next week, your cells and organelles. You can click on it and participate from this doorway, or you can just go straight to the discussion doorway and see it there. Here's my office hours. If you want to talk with other students, tell a joke, share pictures of your dog or your cat, feel free to put it there. If you want to get together, put some type of online study group, feel free to put it here, see who's available. Okay. I will only be checking this to make sure that there is civility. So don't put a question for me there. Questions for me go in my office hours. Okay. So introduction discussion. So here's your introduction discussion. And right here is your cells and large biological molecules discussion. As you can see, it opens up next week. You can see it today. You'll be able to see your discussions a week early, and then so you can kind of prepare for it. And then it'll open that Monday beginning the week. So as you can see, I have other discussions here, but they're hiding. Actually, I replaced that with mine because I already had one for the cells and organelles. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. I believe we covered all the contents. We covered the assignments, discussions. Let's take a peek at the quizzes and have a little discussion about the quizzes. Talk about the quizzes. Okay, so as you see here, some of them are sectioned off, like we got exams, right? Exam 1 through 4, and then the final. Then we have lab practicals. Lab practicals, there's 7 of them. You have 2 mock lab practicals, which means you can open them up, you can look at them. They're like 5, 6 questions, maybe 10 questions, just so you can get an idea of what you would expect for the real thing, okay? You have all your lab quizzes here, okay, lab quizzes. And there are 10 lab quizzes. You also have your syllabus quiz. So all of those are also linked to that front page. Now, Respondus is required for your exams and your lab practicals. So what that means is you can do your lab quizzes, no problem. But when it comes to your lab practicals, it says right here, requires Respondus and a webcam. So if you do not have a webcam, you probably need to look at what you need to do to make sure that you are ready for this course. We also have computers on every campus. I know it's a little bit hard to do that, with people walking in the background, but the campuses do have specific computers that they set aside for those people who have to use Respondus. Okay, so if a webcam is not in your budget, just make sure that you put in your time to go to campus and probably call those computer centers to see if you need to be doing any reserving of those. The same thing goes with your exams 1 through 4 and also the final. They require Respondus. So right here, this is what exactly is it anyway? And once again, you get some videos of Tracy. She has graciously said that I could just go ahead and use her videos. And then she's kind of showing you what that looks like. And so when it comes to it, this is what you can do. You should be showing, there's a whole list of everything. Make sure you identify that list. I will also put it up again when it's time to take the exams. We have to make sure that we're not doing stuff like this, we're not doing stuff like this, all kinds of things. So there's a little list of how not to cheat Respondus. Okay, and you could also take this practice quiz to see if your Respondus is working. So you can go ahead and look at the class list. I don't want to show students because I'm going to use this video later too. And you can find the students on there and you can send them a message or whatever that looks like, just the students in your class. So please, if you have any questions for me at all on how this course is going to go, you put it in my office hours, because I guarantee you, you are not the only one. And so I hope you get started right away. I can't wait to get to know everybody better, and welcome.